Let us now apply our knowledge about inheritance from crossing pea plants to some mammals, in this case the example of albinism. And now I'm going to make a so-called autosomal recessive cross. Autosomal means that the characteristic can be found on one of the non-sex chromosomes, and recessive means that you need 2 times the recessive allele in order for the condition, in this case albinism, to be shown. Over here I'm going to use capital A for the normal allele. Now thinking about it, I probably should have used N, capital N for normal, but it does not matter because I defined the alleles over here. And a lowercase a for the allele for albinism. And over here I have the genetics crossing problem. And I'm going to now have a look at the parents so that I can make a cross over here. If you want to know what albinism is, over here there are some nice laboratory mice. You can see that they do not have skin color. Fur color rather. They are white because there is a lack of pigmentation, and their eyes are red because you can see the red of the blood. Albinism can also occur in other animals, including human beings. So here is the problem. A male mouse with a normal skin color mates with a female albino mouse. The father of the male mouse was an albino. What is the fur color of the offspring? So the male mouse has a normal skin color, but this information is completely irrelevant right now because I know that albinism is autosomal. So we do not worry about whether it's a male or female mouse. The skin color is normal of the father mouse over here, and normal skin color means that there must be at least a dominant allele present. So I'm going to write this down over here, capital A. I do not know about the other one here. And this one is crossed with a female albino mouse. And for the mouse to be an albino, to have a white fur color, you need 2 times a recessive allele, because that's the only possibility in a recessive, autosomal recessive condition. So we do not know this here, but there is some extra information here. The father of the male mouse, so this the father of this mouse over here, was also an albino. So let's write this up here. So the father must also have been lowercase a, and of course there must have been a mother somewhere, which we're not worried about right now. But because the father had lowercase a, he could only inherit to its son over here also one of his alleles. There is no capital A here. And the mother over here, this mouse must have received the capital A from the mother, but we do not know the second one, and it is also not relevant. This here is relevant. The father of the male mouse was an albino lowercase a. One of these alleles must have been inherited. So we see now that we have a heterozygous animal crossed with a homozygous recessive. We're over here in the Punnett grid, capital A, lowercase a, crossed with the albino mouse. We do the cross, heterozygous again, homozygous recessive. What are the genotypes? 2 times heterozygous to 2 times homozygous recessive. We can simplify this. 1 capital A lowercase a to 1 lowercase a lowercase a. Homozygous recessive, heterozygous. The phenotype is this mouse here has a normal fur color. This one has a normal fur color. Albino, albino, 2 normal to 2 albinos. We simplify the ratios. It is a 1 normal fur color to 1 albino. Okay, so that is basically the first cross over here. And we move on now to a second example relating to albinism. Over here, a male mouse with a normal skin color mates with a female mouse. Both parents of the female mouse were albinos. The father of the male mouse was an albino. What is the fur color of the offspring? Again, we do the same thing. Male or female is not so relevant. The male mouse with a normal skin color, we must have a dominant allele over here. We don't know the second one yet. Mates with a female mouse. Okay, well, we'll see. The father of the male, both parents of the female mouse were albinos. Well, if this is the case, that both parents were albinos, then this mouse must also be an albino and must have little a. It must have received one allele over here and one over here. The father of the male mouse was an albino, so it was quite much the same as in the previous example. If one of the parents over here was an albino, then this is inherited, and we have a heterozygous animal. What is the fur color of the offspring of these over here? Okay, I'm going to write this over here. Capital A, lowercase a from this mouse over here, crossed with lowercase a from over here. And and what do we have over here? We have the genotype. It is 1 capital A lowercase a to 1 lowercase a homozygous recessive. Phenotype 2 normal to 2 albinos. We simplify this, of course. I have done this already before here, so it's with 1 normal to 1 albino. That is basically, should just illustrate to you, if you do not know the genotype of the parents, you have to go up further up a generation in order to figure this out. Okay, so this was it relating to autosomal recessive conditions.